In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast. Belated Father's Day greetings for anybody who needs them. Look at that lovely child there who's daubed her love for her father on his car with a screwdriver. Happy Father's Day. That's a cracker. And that was for yesterday in the UK and US. I don't think it was Dia do Pai here in Portugal. For us here on the Silver Coast, in San Martino de Porto, it was the climax, the culmination of 9 or 10 days of partying in honor of Sant'Antonio that we found out a lot about, on including he was stiff and twine-like and not very good if you need money on Friday with Filomena. But amazing job. Well done, San Martino de Porto. I'll play a little bit of video later on before we welcome Vitor Costa, who's going to be talking about bias representation this time, or his visit to the Good Morning Portugal show, talking about bias representation. I'm keen to find out what the difference between being a bias rep and a bias agent is. Maybe it's the same, but I'm sure even if it is the same, Vitor Costa will have his own unique angle on that. Before then, James Holley, or to you and me now, the old guy in Europe. Let's play his music and his trailer for the forthcoming YouTube channel that's going to hit the streets and grace the screens this coming Friday. We'll talk to James all about that after this. But not only that, this too.
Bom dia!
Olá, bom dia, tudo bem?
Sim, muito bem, obrigado. E tu?
Muito bem. Funny enough, shall I find that? I was doing a recording yesterday with Luisa for this new moment show that we're doing for American cable TV, subscription TV. And the whole Muito Bem thing came up. We were talking to the wonderful Vinnie Grant, who I think who's been on this show as well before now. And he was part of his mindfulness process involves him saying to himself, well done. And like really nice, soothing self-talk.
Muito bem.
And I had occasion to say to him, even in Portuguese that works, doesn't it? Because it's not just the words, because you don't know what those words mean when you first get to Portugal, but the intonation, the quality is there, isn't it? With that heartwarming and turning your insides to a nice positive mush. So yeah, muito bem.
Muito bem.
And look, she's here as well. Hola, bom dia.
Olá, Filomena.
And James as well. Rugby Colin is here. T-Duck will come to all your comments in due course. Paul in the Algarve. It is International Desertification Day. Thinking about you in the Algarve there. Paul, João Ernesto, Colleen, Milane, and Coach Turner, of course. And you, James, with your new moniker, Old Guy in Europe, which is a bit of a clue and connected entirely to the promo trailer teaser I've just played. What's going on?
Well, that particular thing, I'm pretty excited about it because it's 3 years since original concept. Like I was still in California and I was looking for sort of virtual tours, video tours, because it was COVID and I was trying to get a boots on the ground experience without being able to come here. And so I started looking through YouTube saying, oh, surely there's someone who's walking through the towns, pointing out, historical landmarks and like a walking tour, only virtually. And I struggled to find anything like that. There was lots of stuff about places, lots of beautiful drone footage with nice music and lots of people talking through the whole. I saw one person walking, but they were just constantly, it was subtitled. So they weren't talking, but in order to know what was going on, I had to read, so I couldn't see the visuals. And I go, no, I want to be able to hear it, but I want to be able to enjoy it. Anyway, I just couldn't find something like that, and it's probably on there. But so I thought, well, maybe that's something you can do when you get there. And then the idea kept fermenting over time, and it just really, it's like, well, I don't want to become a European tour guide for English-speaking people. That's not what my goal is. What is my goal? And it's like, I want to share my experience of being in Europe. I want to share my experience of Portugal with people. So it developed from there. And then Hank, my good friend Hank Stalika, virtually every time we got together and talked, you got to know Hank to understand it. You go, damn, man, that's just so profound. It's like every time we get together, you say something that just like wakes me up and changes my life. He says, you really got to do that YouTube channel. That's his energy behind it. And it really, because of his enthusiasm and his encouragement, that it actually came to fruition in something less than 3 more years. I've been working on it for about a year now, trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't want to get loaded down with new content every week and have it becoming then a YouTube, producer. It's like, no, I just want to share what's up. And that's so for you and Good Morning Portugal, I've got 110 or 11 episodes of content that I can use. So I don't have to create it every week. That was a hard part about the first video. It was an introduction. It was all created content. It was only 8 minutes. It took me like 16 hours to put it together. So it's like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm still very excited about it. I'm really happy with the result. But
you could quickly become resentful with a workload of that kind, couldn't you?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's the highlights. It's the highlights from the shows, is it?
What I did, I found a fairly easy way to edit, and I'm learning. I mean, part of the reason it took me so long to do this first episode is I've never done this before. I've never made a movie digitally. So it's taking what I know about the aesthetics and the timing of multimedia presentation from my old, Navy experience of doing the analog version of that, and then transferring all that into digital skills, which I have had 0 of. So I'm hoping that the time will speed up. But the one thing was I knew how to edit an existing video by trimming it. I knew how to take the ends off. That was kind of the easy part. And so what I did is I just selected out the segments that I am in, like right now on Good Morning Portugal. So it runs anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how long I'm on the screen. And then I'm hoping to also incorporate, like I went to Dublin with Hank and Connie, and I want to share that experience, not so much as a tour video, but just sharing the experience of going to Dublin, the kinds of things that happen when you leave the country, that kind of thing. And my intention is that it's useful and people find value in it. I'm not trying to make any money off it. I'd be surprised if I got, 2,000 subscribers. It would be fun, but for me, the fun would be that I'm reaching that many people. That many people are getting value out of it, not because I'm going to make 10 cents a month off of my subscriptions. So
you've obviously looked into that.
Well, I've heard about it. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it, and be curious. I'm always curious to see. There's always, chemical hit when someone likes something or someone subscribes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I was surprised to see I already have 3 subscribers, and all I've got is a trailer.
Let's see if we can get you a few more. Well, people subscribe, don't they, in anticipation of what else is going to be served up. And when I was telling Mrs. M about what you're doing, that she's here this morning, she was saying, old guy in Europe, are you going to be touring Europe? And you just kind of mentioned that. And perhaps there will be some other footage that we haven't seen, and insight into Dublin. But are you planning to travel? Have you got a list of other places you want to go?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, part of the reason one of the selling points for coming to live in Europe, and near an airport in Portugal puts me within 2 to 3 hours of a flight to almost anywhere in Europe. I mean, it's such a central access point. So yeah, my plan has always been now I'm here, I can travel, but it's like, oh yeah, first I get my residency. Oh yeah, now I got to get my driver's license. Oh yeah. And that's all covered. The first episode is an introduction to the channel. So it explains more or less some of the things I'm doing here, but hopefully a little more entertaining. I felt very stiff because I had a lot of things I didn't want to miss. So I scripted it, and I'm not a good actor. So
no, that's the funny thing. You're a good character actor, aren't you? You can do the voices.
Yeah, well, anything that's spontaneous and anything that's interactive is easy for me. But to sit in front of the camera and read something as if I'm saying it is just like, hello, I'm James Holley. And it's like, it's just not.
I think you should double down on that and make that your style. And don't don't try and be more fluid. Become more wooden.
Well, that could be,
in joke.
And I even noticed a subtle shift as I went through and did that, because I recorded my voice and then I put visuals over it. That was my answer. It's like, I can't do 8 minutes of me talking and just me on the camera like this. I wasn't ready for that. And I realized if I'm trying to make sure I cover certain things, then it has to somehow be scripted or outlined. And it's just, my preference is, kind of like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm doing this, and it was not coming off. So the first episode, I noticed even very subtle changes, even in the recorded pieces where I relaxed more. I took less words or more words out of the script. And I just said, what do you want to say? Just say that. And got used to the idea of doing takes. It's like, oh, I got to get it all perfect 100% the very first time. It's like, you could do it a million times if you want to. It's an incredible learning process for me.
Sounds like.
It's funny because it doesn't challenge the introvert in me, because I'm doing it on my own. There's no people in front of me, but it's challenging I was a photographer in the Navy. I've always been a photographer. So I'm always on the other side of the camera. And it's very different being intentionally in front of the camera. I had to learn how to make a fake smile so it looked natural. I didn't know how to do that. People smile like,
This in its own right is a YouTube channel as well. How to start a YouTube
there you go. How to start a YouTube channel from nothing.
And you've done it. And also, while you've been on air, we've doubled your subscribers, I think.
I hope so. That'd be fun. It'd be great to open on Friday with like 1,000 subscribers. Like, wow. What was that?
Spielberg. Look at these. You've got great reviews as well already. He's not even seen anything. Only seen the trailer, and you're now the new Portuguese Spielberg. I'm loving the hype the updraft that's occurring here.
Yeah, I should get that. I should get a screenshot of that and take that as a quote
I'll tell you what,
for the channel.
you're very welcome. I'll do it for you now.
Thanks. And these are the kinds of things I don't typically think of. I mean, I leave the house sometimes without my phone. I mean, I'm old school. It's not such a habit that it's like, oh, it's just glued to my body somehow. And I got distracted. I left. I was going to take some shots of the open market today for my channel. I don't have my camera.
That's an old guy thing to do.
Absolutely.
It's not go out with your phone. We want more like that. We want the film of you going out without your phone, which someone else will have to take.
Someone else would have. So now I need a photographer.
Oh, that's really old school. You need a production crew.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I've got old wires. I don't have Bluetooth microphone. I don't have these kinds of things. So if I'm out in the wind, it's like, oh, that's going to be fun. Holding my phone, doing a selfie in the wind, trying to talk. So there's some things.
I think we probably need a picture of you in Ericeira with an ear horn as the cover shot. Oh, what's that guy doing? Oh, he's just making a video. Speak up,
one of those old-fashioned cardboard megaphones.
Yes, that's right. See the
director on camera.
He's just talking to his phone.
That's right.
Right, where are you traveling first? Now, when this talk of visiting other parts of Europe came up, this is what really was on Luis's mind. I wondered if you'd be going with James. How are the plans going then for our first trip to Bulgaria? Only kidding. Where are you going?
At this point, I have lots of ideas. I separate out a plan as when I'm actually taking action on doing something. But I'd love to get back to Italy. I loved Italy the 2 times I visited before, and I'd love to spend some time there. I haven't been to Germany, and I took a couple of years of German in high school. I actually sometimes, when I'm trying to remember what the Portuguese is for something, the German word comes up. It's like,
wow,
where did that come from? That's like, talking about old, that's like decades ago.
The human mind is an amazing thing, is it not?
Yes.
The Germans have probably got a really long word for that.
Yeah.
From years ago, yeah.
Exactly. That's one of the things I joke about with the German language. It's like you can have a tiny little gear that goes in a watch, and they have a specific name for it that describes exactly how it fits in the watch against what gear. That's the word for that gear.
Yes, that's right. That's
right.
Yes. Now, this will be a great opening scene. We need James to go out of the door, stop, and then wonder why he's there. People loving this theme. Well done, Coach.
Well, and it's funny, I came up with the name because I wanted something that didn't limit me. I can do anything with that. Anything that has to do with me being in Europe, the title fits.
Yeah, and if you go out of Europe, you can say, this is a really different video today because
I got lost. And the truth is, when I think about it, I don't want to play into the old negative stereotypes of being old. I'm just owning my age. I mean, I think a lot of people wish me a happy birthday yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday, and I hit 70. Which
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people don't.
Well, first of all, belated birthday, best.
Well, it's not really for you. You did that on Facebook, so thank you.
Yeah, true, but I mean, not publicly like this. And yes, so I hope you had a great day, and what a milestone as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't tend to pay attention to my birthday. It doesn't really matter. And Louisa is all about her birthday. She's all about birthdays. Birthday is the biggest day of the year, and so she tends to assume that, I feel that way too. And she goes, "Oh, tomorrow." I'm going, what? We're going to the market again? What's going on?
Yes.
That kind of thing.
How does that feel, Carl? I've got to ask you the classic and contemporary journalistic question. If in doubt, this is all journalistic. You'll notice this now. If in doubt, journalists just say, how does that feel? So how does that feel?
Well, it's unique for me. That's why I'm even talking about it, because I don't normally pay attention. And even the decades, people go, "Oh, you're 40." It's like, well, I'm a day older than I was yesterday, and I don't feel any different. So it just really never made a difference. But I noticed again the mindfulness, the habit of something feels different this time, and it really is literally no different. It's just another day, it's just another number, it's the same day it is every year. So what's different is whatever's going on inside about it. And there's something, I think it goes to, again, not necessarily negative stereotypes, but I've heard people be amazed at what a 70-year-old is able to do, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Muito bem. Muito bem.
It's like, oh man, isn't that great? He can walk out his front door. It's like, it's remember, 70, man. It's not 110. So, and there's probably a 110-year-old going, "What are you talking about, youngster?
Yeah, you little whippersnapper. Shut up, you idiot."
So there's something about that I haven't even observed has settled into the body, that I hit the number and I go, "Ooh, I should be really proud that I can do things like feed myself." It's like that is weird. No, man, that is so strange. And there are, I don't know, I'm sure there are people on the show my age, maybe older too. I tend to be the oldest one in the crowd because I guess I hang out with people who, most of my friends are a decade younger than me, and most people think I'm their age. So that seems to fit. But there are people of age, of a certain age, that's a good British phrase, which I always kind of get bristled about. What does that mean? Who are you talking about? Yes. Who are doing amazing, wonderful, physically fit, adventurous things. So it's not what I anticipated it to be all my life, because our parents always seem so old to us. And also it's significant, I didn't realize, but 70 is the age my father was when he died. And it's like, oh, I'm now the age my father was when he passed, and he had cancer. It's like, well, I don't have that, so I'm probably good. But there's just a certain feeling, something I didn't anticipate in that connection as well. Yes. So it's interesting. Aging is interesting, and I love quoting my mom, because when we used to say, "Hey, Mom, it's your birthday. You're 86 now. How does that feel?" And she just in her way, she goes, "Well, beats the alternative." Like, yes, spot on, Mom. Well done.
True. Look, T-Duck's got a note on his front door that says keys. Have you got one of those?
No, I've developed habits of putting things in place, especially keys. Keys are great for remembering. I always put them somewhere near where I will need them if I forget them, and I'll always know where they are. Or if I have other stuff, I go to someone's house and I take a jacket, I put my keys on top of my jacket, because I can't leave if I'm driving. This was back in the US. I can't leave without taking my keys. I can get to my car and go, "Oh, my keys," and go back and get them. Oh, and my jacket too, right? So just little things we do to remember stuff. I put all my stuff in one place with my keys if I don't want to forget. And typically I don't forget. But if that happens, and it does occasionally, but I don't need a note on the door.
How about a merchandise possibility though? When we've got an old guy in Europe, we can have a sign. You can have have you got your keys? You can have any number of signs that people, or like a book of Post-it notes that people can pre-written messages.
I would be happy to put together a montage of people's things they say about being an old guy or an old gal or whatever.
How quick is your 100 meters?
Well, let's see. Probably about I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. You're talking about walking, right?
No, running. It took you longer to say it than this guy can actually run it, and he's 85. 85. He's runs a 19-second 100 meters. He's incredible.
Yeah, probably take me 30. I'm guessing 100. Yeah.
Okay, and it was Bob's birthday too. You've got a mutual anus with Bob, apparently. Age is a mind over matter.
And if I don't mind, it don't matter.
Exactly. Now, there's a rare picture. You are of, mutually 70, I think, is what Bob is saying.
I think I saw that same day. I was amazed. I saw like 5 or 6 birthdays all happening right around now in June on Facebook.
Amazing. You're Geminis, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all Geminis. Now,
Nunu had a birthday on the 13th. You know, just
yes, yeah, that's right. There's been a rash, definitely, of birthdays, and well, I guess there's only one of 365, sometimes 366 days you can choose. So there will be a few people of the billions who will be sharing this birthday. But yeah,
actually, I found out once because there's like safe bets. If you want to make a bet, you're likely to win. You know, bet someone this. And one of them is if you're in a room of 30 people or more,
yes,
there's an incredibly high percentage chance that someone has the same date as your birthday.
Is that right?
Out of just 30 in a room. So if you want to really bet the odds, say, hey, I'll bet someone $5 if they have the same birthday as I do. Not the same year, but the same day of the month.
Right.
And I think 8 out of 10 times you'll be right. Was pretty amazing.
But you don't want to be betting with the old guy who's left his wallet at home because he
right.
forgot to pick it up. Right. Here's a rare
pick you later, and then he forgets. Right?
This is a bit like This Is Your Life now. I don't know if you had that program in the United States, but here's a very rare picture of you and Bob as children.
A couple old storks.
That's right. Baby storks, actually. No, I can't remember if
that's what I mean. Yeah,
this is Bob's picture, but I can't remember if I showed it after all the hoo-ha I made about it and how long it's been on the picture deck here. So I that's the reason. That must be the reason why I haven't shown it yet. Is because that's you and Bob back in the day up a tree in the United States.
The color fuzz matches.
It was all there, wasn't it? It was all the signs were already there. So any more? We got Vitor joining us in just a moment to talk about being a buyer's representative or the importance of having one here in Portugal. Any more? And you'll be with us, of course, for the next half hour. So any mindful insights you can just share with us during that time. But anything to do with age and the new YouTube channel specifically?
Well, there are my comments and my memes. That could be a great place to transition over to.
All right. Well, in terms of more role models, my 88-year-old friend last year ordered a new car that has a 2-year waiting list. On telling my 78-year-old cousin, he said, "I do not buy green bananas." You see,
because it'll take a couple days for them to ripen, and I don't want to waste it because I can't eat it.
My stepfather got to an age where he said, "I'm not buying any more new suits because I won't get any wear out of them." And I thought,
I made that decision like 20 years ago. So.
But isn't it interesting how people deal with this differently? Happy birthday, James, and Joan was sending you.
Thank you, Joan.
Pete as well. Happy birthday. Did you just pronounce Joan as Joan? Which can easily
no, I thought I was looking at the.
Oh, you did actually.
That's what I pronounced Joan.
I've just noticed it's only one letter away in the alphabet to go from Joan to Jean. Very good. Okay, and Gabriel's here.
And if you said it pronouncing the French letters, it would still be very close.
French letters?
Joan.
Okay, I'm Gabriel. Please, how can I learn to create live shows? Well, you have to talk to James. Oh no, that's the next step.
The expert. Now the expert.
He is
he's been doing it for years.
He's been doing it for 70 years now.
70 minutes.
Being a human, that is. I'm Gabriel. How can I learn to create lives? Well, Gabriel, a quick way to do that. You become a member of the Portugal Club, and you can look at my podcasting course over there.
I'm pretty sure there's all kinds of YouTube videos about how to make YouTube videos or live shows.
Well, good morning to you, Gabriel. Thanks for joining us this morning. Okay, so before we talk to Vitor, then your couple of memes and your contributions earlier on, as you give to us every day, and of course you're able to read them yourself when you're here on the screen. There you go.
The mindful moment. It's a funny thing about life. Once you begin to take note of things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack.
No, I thought I had a jingle for that.
I'm sure you do. It's just which one?
Germany Kent. Do you think they are British and German? Have you ever heard of Germany Kent before?
I've never heard of a first name Germany. It made me wonder if that was made up or whether that was actually given. Interesting to be named after a country, wouldn't it?
Yes, as India sometimes and China are those ladies, maybe gentlemen as well. So thank you very much, Germany, Ken. Yes, absolutely. There's only so much room for things in the mind. So if you make them grateful of a grateful orientation, you squeeze out the other ones. The more
and it's been part of my practice of getting past what I call complaining, the opposite of gratitude. So when I notice myself complaining, gratitude gets me out of it, and the complaining often is about things that we're lacking. So yes,
very good.
Great wisdom.
But mindful dad, Jake, what's this?
Well, speaking my mind is easy. Speaking it tactfully, not so much. Stop it, you idiot!
That's yes. I would give you a piece of my mind if I could spare a little bit. Anyway, and your memes, your visuals.
I refuse to have a battle of wits with an unarmed person.
Right, now there are a couple of Star Trek memes here. I don't think this one is yours, is it? People say,
no, I didn't post it.
No, okay, thank you. That must
their
be
words, not mine. That's funny.
Their words, not mine. That's a cracker, isn't it? Very good. But yours are here somewhere. Vito will be with you in just a moment, just presently. Your Star Trek thing this morning.
What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus.
Very good. And finally, let's go to Vito soon, shall we? Let's take off the banner.
And the educator in me feels the need to explain if people don't understand the intonation. The flag is a big plus. Okay.
We get it. All right.
That's what a dad would do, though, if the kid just sort of went,
okay, we've got it. It just wasn't funny, okay?
It just wasn't funny. Yes, inner peace, dinner, please.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So the message there is maybe don't meditate when you're hungry. I don't know.
Oh, yes. Very good advice. Thank you very much, James. So let's give him a nice round of applause and bring him onto the screen. It's the Kung Fu Panda of the north of Portugal, hidden at the moment by a meme. Let's see if we can show him this morning.
He's got fingers.
Very good. How are you, Vitor? Bom dia, tudo bem?
Bom dia.
Hello and salutations.
Great to see you. Great to see you this morning to talk about being a buyer's representative. And we'll find out if that's the same as being a buyer's agent or not, because, of course, you are a superstar real estate agent in the north of Portugal. But before we go there, how is life in the north of Portugal? How are you? How's your family?
Everything's going good. Always growing, always expanding, finding new ways of doing things properly. So, there's always exciting stuff happening, and we just got an even better and renovated representation contract from EXP. So that is little by little, how you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Hold on a minute. I've got a lot of time for EXP, and I jumped on that on their particular bandwagon when they first arrived here in Portugal. Then I cooled off a little bit, and my life went off in a different direction. But what is going on with EXP, and what is this new renovation thing innovation you're talking about?
Oh, this is just so.
Well, who are they, first of all? Let's explain what that acronym stands for, EXP, or what they stand for.
Sure. EXP is a real estate company. They're cloud-based. One of the things I like about them the most is that instead of operating like franchises, as in how most companies do it, it's just one company globally, right? It makes it really practical. We have several platforms that allow us to connect to agents all over the world. I've sent many referrals to the US, for example, and I had no trouble whatsoever doing it. And sometimes, there's a state where I happen to know nobody there. So I can just go into that platform very easily, find out which agents work there, which are qualified, which, are professional, talk to them, explain the situation, and send a referral like that. Okay. What I was talking about is something a little bit different, right? So one of my mentors, he also, he's the guy who brought the EXP to Portugal, basically. He has over 40 years of real estate experience. We've talked to them a lot. And so he also kind of coaches us. here and there, helping us understand better how to do real estate properly. For example, he's the first person that brought to our attention how it's a conflict of interest for an agent to be representing the seller and then having the buyer.
Yeah.
Right. And how, it's kind of like water and oil. It's how everybody does it here in Portugal, but it is important to have someone representing one side, someone representing the other side. And if you happen to have both, then you need to treat one as your client and the other as a customer. And you need to make it clear for both parties involved. Hey, listen, we have a situation. So the property that you said you're interested in buying, they're actually my listing. So because I have a fiduciary duty with them, here's what we can do. I can show you the market study. I can show you what I did for them.
You're a busy boy, this one. Is that all your messages just piling in this one? Are these all real estate inquiries?
I don't know. But if anybody needs help buying in Portugal, I'm happy to help.
Very good. Like,
so let me find my keys.
And then you do an offer. I won't comment on it. I'll just present it to the sellers. I'll let the sellers know as well. And then, that is one way of doing it. But I still prefer usually to have the buyer or even the seller or the other party be represented by another agent, because that way we can cooperate, we can work together, we can make things happen. And so what I meant about the contract is that with this mentor, we've been talking about it and having a real actual buyer's representation agreement, because the one we had before was kind of a Portuguese contract, if that makes sense. It wasn't very specific. It was more kind of like a checklist of things. This one, which we're still finishing, some minor details and reviewing and making sure everything is okay. It's time specific. It states clearly what the activities and responsibilities for both parties would be, so that, this can be done professionally. Yes. When I started, I was just going with my gumption and with my, my problem-solving mindset. Hey, you need to find a rental in Portugal. No problem. I'll help you out. Hey, turns out nobody wants to share with me. Would you mind paying me a small commission so that I can represent you and on your behalf? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just got 500 euros from a person. Little did I know, right? But that's what I mean, right? There's always a solution to help people. But the more professionally we do it, I believe it's important. It makes people feel more reassured. It gives us a higher dose of responsibility. That's one, because it's one thing that, you talk to me. Hey, Vitor, I want to buy a home. I want something like this, this, and this. If you find something, let me know. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go look for it. And then you talk to 10 other agents, and they all just go running around like headless chickens because everyone is desperate of making a commission. And so they just, everybody sends you the same things, or they only send you the stuff from their own agency, and then they forget about you, right? Because it's like, okay, hey, I haven't talked to him for a while now, but we don't have anything signed. Maybe he bought already, so gives us higher responsibility, gives us a higher duty to perform. And it's really interesting how the psychological affects these things as well. Anyway,
how's it going down? Because I suppose people coming from the United States, for example, might be used to having a buyer's rep and could walk straight into that sort of arrangement. It's new for you. It's not new for them. How would a Portuguese person respond to that, do you think? And is that going to be a big challenge to the standing culture?
Truth be told, I haven't proposed this to any Portuguese buyers yet, but right. I do wonder what would happen. I kind of feel like they will oppose it.
Yes.
Because Portuguese people tend to, if they can see any way of getting out of having to pay someone something, they seem to go that route, right? In fact, I have, we have a property here in Ponte Lima. We're working on it. We're now working on a business plan, a marketing plan, so that they can see whether or not we're the right person to work with them. But it's a property that's going to go close to 800,000, but beautiful property close to Pontelima. You can even have horses there. And one of the things they mentioned is that many people have talked to her. She's been trying to sell the home for like 3 years with many agencies. And many people talk to her like, hey, I might know someone who would like to buy your house, but by the way, is it in an agency? And in the beginning, she didn't understand it. But then it turns out in many countries, like I think France and Switzerland, the buyer pays the buyer side commission. And so apparently there have been people who didn't send an offer to her house because they didn't want to pay more just to pay the agency. Right?
Oh, okay.
So, but the way I see it is, I need to explain clearly what the value we give as a buyer's agent is. And then it's up to them whether to hire us or not. Like, if you value having to pay me a 3% plus tax more than everything I could do for you and even what I could save you, like, at the end of the day, there are many situations where even though our commission is 3% plus tax for the buyer side, we kind of work for free in the sense that, negotiation is our strong suit. So as long as we get you at least a 3% discount on the asking price, you're already buying something for cheaper.
There you go. Okay. These agents, says by Randy, who has some skin in this game, that use other agents, then you're dealing with 2 or more of them, all showing the property, each with their own potential buyers, not telling the sellers, hoping their buyer will come through. It is messy at the moment, isn't it?
Yes.
We are in the middle of a cultural change, I think, in the Portuguese real estate industry.
Yes.
Which won't happen overnight, let's face it. We've been talking about this for a little while now, and we've been actually seeing, you're a little bit of a case study, aren't you? You're part of that change, I think, Vitor. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, I'm always paying attention of what's going on. And I talk to agents, I talk to people, and I start noticing, patterns and things that, there's a way things have always been done. And then there's like this gut feeling pushing you somewhere. For example, one of these days, I had a meeting with a guy. He wanted to start in real estate fairly recently. He's very successful already, but wanted to try out real estate. And he joined a local agency, to gain some experience and do deals. But he started noticing that, it doesn't fit with him. For example, he'd walk in the office, there would be a guy there stretching with clients and everything, seeing. And then clients would be in there and 2 or more agents would be arguing very loudly about football. And it's like, this isn't professional, right?
No.
And another thing is, he, I still don't quite know exactly what would be the great opportunity he has, but he showed me his Google Maps. You can barely see the map. It's all pins and dots and everything of unique properties he's seen all over Portugal, farms, vineyards, all kinds of interesting properties, and he has them in his pocket, right? And the normal thing is, if you know someone, you have to have an agent and blah, blah, blah. But you can you can also have something in your pocket, and it could be a good synergy that I could have with him. For example, hey, we have a buyer, right? Sign a buyer's representation contract, which already means that regardless of other people wanting to cooperate or not, we can still represent you. We can still play at your best interests because, hey, ultimately, it's always the buyer who pays. It's just that instead of paying them so that they can pay me, you can pay me directly. And then, they do whatever they want. So in this case, I'd have my buyer, I'd have my commission taken care of. And then he, hey, I have a client. Let's go take a visit to that property you saw. We go in there, we do a visit. If the buyer likes it, then he can sign a 1-day listing agreement or whatever. So he doesn't have to do things the way that things are normally done.
No, hopefully
need to
it'll be done in a way that works for people, right? That's the ultimate aim, isn't it? To have a win-win or a win-win-win
Exactly.
with you in that mix as well. Exactly. I think responding to the situation as it was, as Pete experienced it, and exactly what we're talking about here this morning. We cut out estate agents both ends. It's like the Wild West out here. The only guarantee is that the agent will always be economical with the truth. That's a sad indictment or judgment on the situation, isn't it? And there is some truth in that, obviously, depending on who you're speaking with. Agents get lazy because 50% of buyers are time wasters just looking for a dream. Now, that's a problem for sure, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And that is unfortunate and difficult for anyone working in the real estate business to qualify. Have you, I guess you've got a little bit tighter on such I've got to get that fly sorted out. I guess you've changed your game a little bit, haven't you? You were probably responding to everybody all the time.
Yes.
Years ago, and now you presumably become a little bit more discerning and qualifying with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Back then, I had my meeting link set up for every day of the week.
Yeah,
and so my schedules would be very, very chaotic, and I would be like, okay, let's go to the ballet lessons or whatever. Let's go take Bianca, have some fun, and then never mind, somebody just scheduled a meeting for 1 hour from now, so I had to go have the meeting, and then it would be someone like, hi, I want you to find me a job in Portugal and a place to live. Okay. We don't really find jobs, but I wouldn't mind, helping you call some companies or whatever. But it would cost you X, and then you would also have to pay rent, and then you'd also have to pay our fee. That's kind of when I started realizing that a lot of people would be time wasters. So I started adding fees as kind of like a filter. And then I think there was one guy that I could really tell, was really going to be a time waster, and he wasn't qualified. So I gave him like 3,000 to 5,000 to help him look for a company or whatever. And then all of the other fees on the side. And he said, yeah, okay, let's do that. And okay, I don't think this guy understands it yet, or he's bluffing. So I then said, and just so you know, and by the way, this was a few years ago, and just so you know, you're telling me you want to go to Porto. I wouldn't expect paying any less than 800 euros for a place. And then he replies with, can you get me a house for 250 euros a month? I'm like, I'm not sure I can even get you a room, man.
WhatsApp messages.
Are you listening?
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
So yeah, it had to start qualifying. And I can tell you too that, there was one time with, luckily at this point, we're already starting to, having a retainer. I think the person paid about 600 euros or something like that at the time. Showed them a few homes, kind of broke a part of my car, very big, but that's okay. And then we went, we saw property. They liked it. They said that they wanted to buy it. I started talking to the agent, doing the contract and all of that. Then they called me, hey, Vitor, we just bought a home somewhere else. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's coming back to the main point here. We are working, I hope, evolving towards a situation that works for everybody, and that everyone should be treated fairly in this, which is basically a triangle, isn't it? Of the buyer, the seller, and the person facilitating the deal in between as well, which is you in this instance. So we love catching up with you, chatting with you, finding out how that business is going. If people want to work with you, and you say, you're not just confined, are you, to the north of Portugal? But a good place to start, obviously, is the website address you've got there, portugaldoor.com. On a broader note, given that you are our man in the north, we haven't called you that for a long time, have we? Because I think there are others now in our community. We've got João de Norte, the self-proclaimed João de Norte as well, who is a good friend, our mutual friend of ours. How is life up there in the north of Portugal from your point of view? Festa season, I guess, has been happening.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Yes. Let me just real quick. Yes, the work we do, we can represent you in any part of the country. Yes. Obviously, our first-hand experience is here in the north, but with the knowledge we have, let's say you want to go to the Algarve or center of Portugal or the islands. Very good. We'll still represent you. We'll talk to the agents. We'll interrogate them. If we find they don't fit and they're not good enough to, show us the property, even if we find a local, talk to them. Hey, I'll pay you X. I just need you to go and see some properties. I need you to pay attention to this, this, and that. Take some pictures. And then, we do our due diligence. So you're still covered there. North, Yes. I remember, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago or however long we've met, but I remember one time you said that starting in May, Portugal goes into party mode, right? The other day, it was like 1 a.m. on, it was on the 8th. What day was the 8th? Yeah, on a Saturday, I think.
Feels like a long time ago, right?
Yeah, it does. And 1 a.m., really, really loud music still booming because they were having some sort of concert. The worst part is they were just regurgitating those Brazilian songs that we were sick of hearing in discos and whatever, even from college. And yeah, so
it started. Yeah. Okay, you don't sound like a fan. We've got some Festa footage to share with you after we've said a few hellos. Jump in.
No, Festas are fine, but when you can't sleep because you're having gross music being sung very loudly, unoriginal, and the same music you hear over and over and over everywhere.
Well, lucky we've got a psychotherapist here. You might be able to help Vitor. He sounds like he's suffering there, James. Bon dia todos from Raj's Indian family in Portugal. We see you from time to time, Raj. It'd be nice to know a bit more about you. Coach Turner was in earlier on. Bon dia, Gumpers. Espero que vocês tenham tido ótimo fim de semana. Hope you had a good weekend. Mine was pretty good, binging on cars at an all-you-can-eat car heritage festival, by the sound of it, with the family in the sunshine. Bista. For American viewers, not Bicester. That'll be Bista, James, on the screen there. God scored tip of the day. If you struggle with your posture, here's an exercise that can help. Lie on your front, resting your forehead on a rolled up towel. We're liking this already. That sounds like a little bit of a moment.
Instant nap.
Yes, with your... where am I? Oh, I'm supposed to be exercising.
More old guy material.
with your arms by your side, Vitor.
I can feel it, Mr. Krabs.
Raise your shoulder blades, then slowly lift your arms up as if you're flying. Okay, so clear the space around you. Take any dogs or cats out of the room because they'll get involved with this one. You should feel, and we have a lovely video of a cat snoring to go out with today. You should feel the muscles in your back working. Hold for 2 to 3 seconds, then bring your arms slowly down, and then relax your shoulder blades. Repeat about 10 times. It's like an indoor snow angel, isn't it? Repeat about 10 times and try to do this twice a day. The idea is to tighten the back muscles to improve your posture. Very nice. Milen was here with her morning thought this morning.
I might do it.
Really? Don't forget the rolled up towel because you don't want to be on a Zoom call after that one, having not used a rolled up towel with a great big red mark.
Well, you might have little terry cloth dimples on your forehead.
That's true, but select your tea towel carefully with the pattern and print on it. Morning thoughts. We can't control the direction of the wind, but we can adjust ourselves. Jimmy Dean, is that the James or the Jimmy? Or both there. Morning to you, Milen. Thank you for that. Bon dia, Carl Gumpers from a lovely, sunny, warm Belfast. 14 degrees, should hit 17 after a cold June. Summer's here this week. So they say. And today, 17th of June, International Drought and Desertification Day, which is something you would know if you're in the insurance business, I'm guessing. Hola, bon dia. Off to check out Zimbra shortly, but I wanted to wish you all a beautiful day in the sun. Isn't that lovely? From Colleen. Good morning to you, Colleen. Zimbra is beautiful. Joao de Nort with a great...
Bit cloudy today.
Yeah, up in the north. That's your weather report, is it? Bit cloudy. It might clear up though, right, Vitor?
Oh, the window is closed. Great.
Okay. All right, we'll take your word for it. Hola, bon dia, Portugal, from João Nesto and Paul in the south. Another sunny day in the Algarve. There we go, with Paradise Unlimited is the new T-shirt design he's working on, with temperatures reaching 26 today with a mild cooling wind and clear blue skies. Very nice indeed. And in Ericeira, just down the road from you this weekend, James, successful day at the 14th annual beach rugby. Ericeira weather was kind, not too hot for the players. Well done to all of them. Who won? Can you remember that, Colin? Let us know. And what a brilliant weekend. Language class, a book reading by South African author Jane Kay, a festa of Vinho Verde, a hike with friends, topped off with wine, tea, and table tennis tournament. Now, we've got pictures to prove this. This is up in the north, where Vitor is based. Which one of these is the Vinho Verde Festival? I think it's this one.
Entre a tua vitrina, sorria lista, faz malabarismo a ilusionista, ilumina o céu que nos devora. Já se sente o frio, está na hora de irmos embora. Sou um ser que odeias, mas que gostas do mar, barco perdido à deriva.
We had a very similar stage in San Martino de Porto. How about that? Vinho Verde Festival, lovely music, and a crowd, and then far from the madding crowd and the Festa crowd. This is João out and about hiking in the beautiful northern Portuguese landscape. That looks more like it, doesn't it, James? That's your kind of vibe there, I think. And then back inside for the author reading there, and a bit of ping pong. I've taken up a bit of ping pong coincidentally this weekend. A tournament in someone's garage. That looks like fun there. I've forgotten how energetic you need to be to play.
Was that video in Barcelos, by the way?
I'm not sure where that Vinho Verde Festival
looked like the Barcelos Park. You used to go there all the time.
Did you? With the lovely plane trees there. Philomena was in, of course.
Doggos.
Say that again, Vitor.
With the doggos.
Oh, and that's where you grew up, of course, isn't it?
Yeah.
You spent a lot of time in that part there. Joan's with us, or Joan, as we're now renaming you. That's
Joan.
Joan, I think we'll go with Joan. Joan van Groningen. Does that happen to you, Joan? I wonder. And I think we have built up your subscriber count a little bit, James, this morning with your new YouTube channel. Antonio, wishing you a parabéns. I think that's for your birthday, as well as your new YouTube channel. And great timing, by the way.
Obrigado, Antonio.
Launching
Parabéns a você.
Querida. We will learn it. We will. Parabéns.
Something, da.
We named it. Speaking of being named for a country, in the Old West, we had a guy named England Bob. Was he from Worcestershire? Because I noticed over the weekend somebody has replaced their Worcestershire sauce. And I won't ask you to say it, James. Don't worry.
Thank you. I'm already trying to learn Portuguese. That's tough enough.
Yeah, that's another level, isn't it?
Much less learning English.
I was really surprised to see that.
Worcestershire sauce.
Very good. Well, that's close enough. That's close enough.
Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce.
Antonio F. Very pleased to see you, as well, as is Philomena this morning, Vitor. And a quick hello from Seville in Spain. How lovely. And then a lot of chat in the chat about estate agency. Oh, it does get people going, doesn't it? Estate agents do seem to stir the emotions of people, but you're in good hands when you work with somebody like Vitor Costa here at Portugal Door. Is that at portugaldoor.com?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Singular door.
And you're here on the screen as well. That's amazing. You're doing weather forecasts simultaneously. Claudia and Miranda de Corvo. And Anola bon dia from Chris as well. Good morning to you, Chris. Excellent. Good to see you here. And Joan doesn't mind that at all, or should I say Joan? Yes, I have been renamed, and I like it. Festa was at Expo Lima in Ponte Lima. The old plane trees can be a little bit confusing there. So final words, we will stick around a little bit longer to play a snoring cat and a bit of folkloric dancing from San Martino de Porto and some fireworks. But before we go there, gentlemen, last words from you both. Vitor, you first.
Yes, for people here in the north or who want to come to the north, on the 28th, we've spoken to the local Rancho Folclórico group. So they agreed to have expats go in there, try out a dance, and have some fun, learn a little bit about the dance and culture. We just need to know how many people want to go. So if you'd like, you can send an email to rancho@portugaldoor.com.
That is a lovely gesture towards integration and a lot of fun as well, right?
I couldn't send a message. I'll send it to you, so maybe you can post it.
I'd be happy to share that. We will pop that up on our various social media. Oh, I'll do that now. Thank you for sending me that. Thank you for that invitation. So that's to get involved in a bit of folkloric dancing here in Portugal, in the north of Portugal specifically, and you'll have a lot of fun, I am sure, with Vitor over there. There you go. There's the oh no, that's not quite right, but I think you can make out from that it would be that's entirely wrong, but bear with. We're looking at Rancho at portugaldoor.com. I'm not entirely sure what happened the first time I tried to do it. there you go. And Bob already excited to join that dance experience. Thank you for being here this morning, Vitor. James, the old guy in Europe. There he goes. He's showing you what you'll be doing already. The old guy in Europe. Congratulations on the new channel and on reaching the milestone birthday. Let's not make too much of a fuss about that. But your mindful reflections upon it.
Well, as soon as you said that, my mind and my heart immediately went to appreciation. It just brought to the fore my appreciation for this community, for the safety and the support that it provides all the people who are here. And none of that would be happening, which goes to my appreciation of you personally, Carl, had you not taken the step to create this live broadcast that brings this community together, and then lead that community with your own sense of respect and kindness and all the things that you bring to the show. I honestly believe helps to reflect what this show is. And I'm just sitting in that admiration and appreciation in the moment. So thank you all.
Thank you very much indeed for that. That's very nice. Yes. And well, yeah, I don't know what to say apart from thank you. And long may it continue. That's what we need to say, right?
Well, how does it feel?
It feels lovely. And you know what? I'm going to celebrate with a range of videos now.
And colors.
And yes, absolutely. I've blushed right up like a Portuguese tomato. Thank you very much. And good luck with your new YouTube channel. And we're going to have some dancing and fireworks and snoring cat now to celebrate. Okay, so gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Thank you everybody for being here. Have a fabulous week. We'll see you tomorrow with the kids.
Ciao. Até amanhã.
Sempre dedista tua nada, diz nada ter o meu coração. Se o meu amor gosta de mim ou não, diz nada ter, mas diz verdade. Se o meu amor me tem lealdade, diz nada ter o meu coração. Se o meu amor gosta de mim ou não, diz nada ter, mas diz verdade. Se o